I'm going with mood lighting tonight. Got my Christmas lights on. I'm watching 4 minutes left between Boston and Colorado. And Tuukka Rask, for all the talk about Carey Price, and rightfully there's a lot of talk about Carey Price and his work in Montreal, Tuukka Rask has been pretty infallible this year for Boston. Um, it's not that Boston's playing very well. They're not. But Tuukka Rask just bails them out time and time and time again. Um, Brandon Carlo and Zdeno Chara, though, have formed a tremendous partnership on defense. And they might be my favorite tandem on the blue line in quite a while in Boston. Um, the Vancouver-Dallas game, yes, I watched it. Of course I watched it. I'm a fan of both teams. What a sloppy piece of crap that game was. I couldn't tell which goalie wanted to lose it more until overtime when Leighton proved that his name's Lettinen for a reason. Dallas has a massive problem. Massive. And I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs this year. I really genuinely don't know if Dallas is going to make the playoffs this year. Boston, on the other hand, as long as Tuukka's healthy, there's no reason Boston can't make the playoffs. And that's the difference. The only difference between Dallas and Boston is goaltending. Although that being said, Jamie Benn is not Jamie Benn right now. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's not himself. Sagan looked good today for Dallas. I was very impressed with Patrick Eaves. I've always liked Patrick Eaves as a utility guy that can pitch in a few goals here and there. And he has the most epic beard in hockey. So for all you Brent Burns fans out there saying, "Oh, Brent Burns has the most epic," in my eyes, it's not Burns. It's Patrick Eaves. It's kind of fantastic. But Dallas, they get the loser point, and Vancouver gets the win. And the Kyle Connor hit. This is where I told you guys I was going to be consistent. The Kyle Connor hit from Kyle Clifford in that game. I'm sure that video footage is going to be sent to GMs. Elliot Friedman last night in Hockey Night in Canada said that there's a split in GMs. Half of them want those partial blindside hits pulled out, and I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, it wasn't a blindside." I know what you guys are going to say because I know my viewers. But remember Matt Cook's hit on Mark Savard way back in the day? That was a legal hit when it happened. It was legal to hit leading to and point of contact's the head. That's fine. That was legal. At the time, Matt Cook delivered a lot of those cheap shot hits that have everybody angry at him to this day. They were clean hits. But we knew they were dirty for some reason. And they also admitted on Hockey Night in Canada last night, yes, the NHL will probably end up taking a lot of hitting out of the game. And while I'm sure there are people who are going to watch this who are going to argue with me, the fact that half the GMs in the league apparently are on the same mindset that I am, that somebody's going to get really badly hurt, paralyzed, or killed with these hits. Something's got to be done, and the other half of the GMs are in agreement with people who don't mind those hits, saying those are part of hockey. That's fine. And personally, I find it kind of weird having the discussion, because the discussion has now happened. This is the third or fourth time since I started watching hockey that hits have been at the forefront of what's dirty and what isn't. And it moves and it changes. And the rules change as the players change. The players change their size, their speed, everything. It all changes. I find it's strange because with goaltenders, we all say, okay, well, goaltenders were 5'6" back in the 80s. Now they're 6'6", so nets should be bigger, and the equipment should be smaller, and there should be some way to increase scoring. Okay, players are about a foot taller. They're a lot bigger. They're a lot stronger. Their equipment's a lot harder. Maybe we should decrease hitting too, because there's gonna be a lot of nasty injuries. And then people are like, no, no. So I find that strange, and I don't have a horse in this race. Um, I don't have any personal stake in this. But as a hockey fan and as a fan of kids like Kyle Connor, was that a dirty hit? No, no, it wasn't. Should it be? Maybe. And will it be? I think it will. I think those are the hits that certain GMs are saying we want to get this out of the game. I think it's going to happen. I do. Boston scores in the empty net, 2-0 win. Tuukka again, and it sucks for Colorado because Varlamov finally has a good game, and it doesn't matter. But I definitely see something changing. There won't be any supplemental discipline on Kyle Clifford. He got a 5-minute penalty on the play, and that's fair. But I do think those hits are going to be under the microscope. Not this season, obviously. It's not a change to make this season, but in the off season coming up, I think the rule's going to change. And I think players are going to have to let up. It's one of those things too. I remember football players had the hardest time in the beginning with letting up and not finishing hits. But I don't watch football now and say, oh man, I really wish that guy got drilled there. And that'll happen in hockey too. Guys are going to go in for a big hit and they're going to go, wait a minute, I can't. Because of his positioning, because of this situation, I can't. And they're going to peel off and not make that hit. And as fans, will be upset the first few times it happens. Like, oh, that should have been a big hit. But after a few games, it's not going to be a big deal anymore. Because the game changes. The game is always changing. Hockey adapts. And hockey will adapt. And it has to. Because, if that hit, Kyle Connor was out of the game. I mean, what if, and I haven't read any injury reports, what if Kyle Connor was out the rest of the year? As a Jets fan, are you saying, oh, well, it was a good hit? Probably not. It is harder when it's players on your team. Not for me personally. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, you were after Kadri for that hit on Sedin. Yeah, no. Not because it was Sedin. Anybody who thinks it's because it was Daniel Sedin is missing the point. When I saw that Connor hit, I winced and I went, oh, that's bad. Not that's bad as in that hit is dirty, but that's bad as in he was vulnerable and Clifford just ran through him. Clean? Ran through him. Brutal. I'm just watching Tuukka Rask get congratulated on the shutout. 2-0 over the Avs. Way to go, guys. Now Tuukka's 10-1, and his goals against dives even further, and his save percentage goes even higher. So this is a good time to be a Boston fan. Sadly, Montreal is just as good, if not better. And I say that knowing damn well that at this point that I'm taping this, Montreal and Chicago, it was 3-2 Chicago last I saw. 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, 2:56 left, and it's 3-2 right now for Chicago. So Al Montoya for roughing. Oh, they got Montoya in net. Well, there you go. I actually agree with Therian on that one. I think that's a sign of the apocalypse that I agree with Therian on having Montoya in net. I've noticed a lot of players coming back to earth. Montoya being one of them. I'll get into that in a video later tonight as well. I am going to do the New Jersey video. That's coming, obviously. I got my Rockies and my jersey. But I'm also going to look through league scoring because I noticed a lot of interesting things this morning, so I'm going to go through that with you guys watching. And this little video here on, I don't even know what I'm going to call this. I mean, it's just stuff that occurs to me watching hockey today. Chicago shoots at the empty net with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left and ice it. Why? Why do they do that? What? I've asked that during live streams, like, why are they icing the puck with an empty net? Why are teams doing this all the time now? Why? What do they do it for? But yeah, so I came out of last night being sick and being sick this morning relatively well. I'm still drinking Coke. Of course, Yvonne says to me, she goes, "Isn't Coke a diuretic?" I'm like, damn straight, and kept downing it. So, you know, there's one drink that fixes anytime my stomach's like that, and they don't have it at 7-Eleven, and I'm 99% sure that I can't find it anywhere else right now. They used to make, not the Nestea they have now. The Nestea that Coke puts out in the cans and mass produces, the original Nestea that tastes like iced tea, the raspberry form. That raspberry Nestea just calmed me down every time. 20 years ago, anytime I'd feel sick to my stomach, I'd go get a raspberry Nestea and it would calm everything right down. And I would drop anything that had caffeine and anything you can't see through as a general rule. If you can't see through it, don't drink it. But yeah. Anyways, so it's a wonderful rainy night. It's 6:42, and I had a minor nap before making this video. It's one strange thing about having a girlfriend is that I do tend to just fall asleep. You know, she puts her arms around me and I'm out. It's like, okay, I feel safe and I'm out. So that's why you didn't get the New Jersey video earlier, and that's why you're getting videos after she's gone home. So I'll get the camera workout tonight. I'm going to make sure the mood lighting remains as it is. And yeah, so I will definitely do a video where I discuss the scoring in the NHL. Why did they ice it again? Minute and 14 left and Chicago iced it again. Are players this dense? Who? Why? What? You don't ice the puck at the empty net. What? Why are they trying to hit the empty net from the other end of the ice? Does Chicago not want to win this game? Now they got to call a timeout. Man, if I was Quenneville, I'd absolutely chew them out for that crap. I'm glad, too, that somebody's finally said that Calgary's problem is the coach. I mean, I don't expect Calgary to pull a Pittsburgh, but look at Pittsburgh last year. The stats all across the line were bad in Pittsburgh, and then they changed the coach, and magically they turned around. So Calgary has to be thinking about that right now. They have to be looking at the stats. And I mean, I'm going to go over the stats with you guys in a bit here. They're scary. It's scary for Calgary right now, just how bad they are. And I guess we'll see whether they can pull out of this. But I just, Gullickson's not, he's a good assistant coach. He's just not a great head coach. I remember in Dallas, he was okay. But Dallas was always just barely short of the playoffs and just sort of going through the motions, sort of like they are right now under Lindy Ruff. Maybe it's Dallas. And another thing, too, I want to say is that everybody crucifies Peter Chiarelli for trading Tyler Seguin. Oh, Sagan's one of the greatest players in the league. Seguin. Okay, so why is Dallas in the crapper? Dallas has won absolutely nothing with Tyler Seguin. And I'm sure people are going to say, well, it's the goaltending. Okay, but still, they've made this great trade, right? So their GM, Jim Nill, is fantastic, right? Because he ripped off Peter Chiarelli for Tyler Seguin. No, because the way he handled the goaltending nullifies anything he did by getting Seguin. My point is simple. Any GM, if you look for a mistake, you'll find one. And if you look for something they did right, you'll find that too. And it is a very thankless job. Wow, there's a lot of fighting going on down in that corner. Is that Andrew Shaw? Well, there's Gallagher. Yep, that's Shaw and Gallagher. I wonder if they're asking him where he'd like to go for drinks after the game. I guess if you're punching him in the face to Morse code, maybe. There it is, a little face wash for Andrew Shaw. And it's, you know, and anybody who's a fan of Andrew Shaw, and I was his first year, I'm not anymore really. I mean, I did say that Andrew Shaw would help Montreal's game, and that he brings sort of that edge and that tenacity they need, but he's kind of a prick, and he does ride that line, and he does cross it every now and then, and he is making it clear in this game that he is now a Montreal Canadian, and he may be friends with these guys off the ice, but the Blackhawks are not his friends on the ice. So, you know, good on him. All right, I'm going to shut this video down. I'm going to load up some stats, go through some stats with you guys, and have a little sort of one-way discussion on stats being where they're at. But yeah, this season's been a strange one. Oh no, Montreal's calling a timeout. My God. It's football. Hockey's turned into football. The last 2 minutes of the game take forever. All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're passing through. And I will be back with more video fun soon. Soon being in like very, very short period of time. So keep an eye on your newsfeed and your notifications. And you're going to be getting notifications from me tonight, at least 2 more.